Hey everybody, Brian from Bearbill Traders here. It is the weekend, February the 8th, and this of course is the weekend video. We'll go over what happened last week in the markets, just a quick review, and it was a pretty crazy week. And then we'll take a look ahead. We'll look at some levels that are important to the SPY, Qs, and Dow, IWM, and we'll also look at some potential trades for next week. So let's get down to it. All right, as we always do, let's take a quick look at what happened last week to start. Pretty volatile week, actually. Markets did try to rally throughout the week, despite the fact that we got some bit of concerning earnings reports from some of the Mag 7 names, and some of them took a real hit there. Tariff concerns and wage growth faster than expected. Employment dropped a little bit more than expected on those jobs numbers on Friday. But then the market really took a hit on Friday at 10 a.m. when the consumer sentiment came out, and they reported it at a 7-month low, and that really caused the markets to sell off. And of course, tariff concerns remain out there, and what that means for inflation. Inflation certainly hasn't been defeated or brought back to 2%, and there is, of course, concerns that it may turn around and start going back up again. So there you go. There's how we finished on the week. Could call that flat. There wasn't much action when the dust settled on Friday at the close. Some risk off trades kind of became back here. Staples was one of the sectors that was up the most, and cyclicals risk on trade was one of the sectors that was down the most. 2-year up a little bit on some of those concerns about inflation. 10-year just down a little bit there as well. Dollar up a little bit, probably based on that 2-year Treasury yield increase. And Bitcoin, another risk on trade, took a bit of a hit there from 102 down to just over 96 where it's trading now. So that was your week in review. So just taking a pause here, as always, like to do a quick plug for my books that are available on Amazon. Of course, this is a swing traded video, and these are some of the strategies that I use for swing trading. I cover in these 2 books, How to Swing Trade and Profiting as an Active Trader, so you can check those out. And also I've got an options trading book. My latest book came out and covers A to Z with options, and also some day trading options if you're interested, but swing trading, day trading, all the strategies that you can use to trade options. So they are available on Amazon in all 3 forms: hard copy, audio, and e-version. So check those out. And let's get back and take a look at some indexes. All right, so let's take a look at some of the indexes here. UVXY, this is sort of the fear indicator, VIX, and you can see here we're kind of just bumping along, fear indicator very low, but it did bump up on Friday, and I'm looking for a follow through on Monday. We'll talk about that in some of my current positions here. So I took UVXY right at near the close. TLT, you can see here, this is the long-term Treasury yields. You can see we're kind of flattening out here. You can almost think this is a sort of an inverted head and shoulders pattern, which is a fairly reliable pattern. We are right at sort of an area of prior support, which is now becoming resistance. And again, this will go up if CPI and the PPI data that's coming out shows inflation is under control, but we may continue back down if inflation starts to rear its head again, as interest rates will go up as the price of the bonds will drop. So you can see here, the UUP, this is the dollar index. You can see we're pretty much trading in a range, and that's very much a function of interest rates. As interest rates go up, the dollar value of the dollar goes up. And you can see here QQQs, we've kind of been putting in a bit of a top here. We did try to get back up to this downward sloping trend line, couldn't make it through it. We do have an upward sloping trend line here. So a bit of a pennant forming, and we'll see what happens on Monday. But we came right back down through the 9 EMA or 9 moving average, and came down to the 20. So we'll see if we retest these lows. This is an area that could be in play on Monday, retesting this 513, 515 area on the QQQs. or we could continue to challenge this this trend line and maybe even break out from it, because we are making a series of higher lows here. And as you know, probably as we get in tighter into that apex of the pennant, you'll get a break one way or another. The SPY again, you know, a high, a lower high, and by the looks of it, a bit of a lower high here, but you know, we still got some higher lows on this side. So again, we're kind of sitting right on this 20 EMA here, and just hanging on to that level right now. And we'll see where we go on Monday. We may come back down, test this 595 area, which was this low. If we start testing this low, then the potential for more downside. But again, that's we just have to wait and see what other stuff comes out of the White House and some of the policies that are affecting the markets. And you can see here that, you know, this is kind of a double top on Dow, and this was a prior high. You can see here what happened when we got a double top. We really got a significant sell-off. Again, we're above the 20 EMA. So, you know, if we do start to break down, these prior lows will be in play. And then if we really break down, then this gap here could be also in play. But again, that would be a function of the market really breaking down, which again is sort of a function of what is playing out politically right now. IWM, I flagged this 230 level. This was going to be a level we were going to have trouble getting through, and you can see we rejected right there at it. And of course, it is coming back down. And again, sort of 220 to 230 is your range on the IWM. And Bitcoin, again here, when the market sells risk assets, Bitcoin obviously takes a bit of a hit here, and that's what we're seeing. So we'll see where it goes. 92,000 seems to be a very solid area of support on Bitcoin. So we'll see if that gets retested. And I would look, if you were trading Bitcoin, I'd look to get long there for a bounce. All right, so let's take a quick look at what's going on with current positions. And as I mentioned, I did take a position on UVXY into the close on Friday. I'm hoping we do get a gap up like we got here and we got here. So it seems like these Fridays, there's a bit of over the weekend, you get some more news coming out, and markets gap down, and then the fear trade goes up. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just hoping that will play out again on Monday. So that was a late day trade on Friday. GDX, this was one I had flagged last week, if you caught my last week's video, and went long on GDX. This is the gold miner ETF, just because the gold miners had really been lagging behind the price of gold, which is hitting record highs. And so I thought, there's no place to go if gold prices stay high. There's really no place to go for these miners except up, because they're very levered to a lot of them are levered to the price of the metal. So why not? Google was one I was in from the prior week, and I got out of it. This is a rule I have for my swing trades. I try not to hold anything through earnings. So I'm really glad I didn't hold that through earnings. Got out of it, and it sold off, and I was glad that I was out of that trade. Again, that's covered in my swing trade video or swing trade books. It's one of my rules for my swing trades, not my position trades, but my swing trades. X I've been holding on to for a couple weeks now since it bottomed out here, and when it popped up above 40, this was the level right here that I was looking at to get out of the rest. So we had a nice pop up, and I got out of the rest of it. I am done with X for now. KMI, still holding this one. Sold it before earnings again, following my rules, now I got back into it on this pullback, down a little bit, but I did collect the dividend that it just paid. So I think I'm still up on that trade. And TD, This was one where I broke my rule, and this is, you can see what happened when I broke my rule. So again, painful. You always have rules for a reason, but I held on to it, and now it's come back up nicely, and I'm still holding on to it. And I kind of missed this drop and pop. Unfortunately, I didn't get stopped out, but I'm still in this, and I'm thinking it's going to go higher. All right, so these are the stocks that I am going to be watching for next week. Of course, some of them are residual earning plays. So looking for Amazon, you can see Amazon sold off on their earnings as well. I'm looking at this 225 level as being an area that there could be some support there. Again, we'll let the dust settle a little bit on this. There is a possibility of just selling options. If you wanted to play this with options, you could sell maybe some 225s. If you wanted protection, maybe it's buy some 220s down here, or 215s, just so that you limit or define the risk that you're taking. And maybe you'd be prepared to own some shares of Amazon at 225. But I think looking for some, the reaction from the earnings, overreaction, selling off, and then coming back up. So some of my favorite trades to trade overreactions. Google, again, I think maybe a bit of an overreaction here. This 182 level looks like an interesting area. Well, again, the dust is, as you can see here, we had the reaction to the earnings, and we have a little bit of a pop, and then Friday way more selling. And again, the concern here is the amount of spend that's going on with their AI initiatives, and but I still think Google could be a trade here, maybe selling some 180 puts and collecting the premium, or just going long the stock if it does get down there. Uber was an interesting one. Uber had earnings, kind of sold off, and then came ripping back up here. And then there was an announcement Friday that Bill Ackman took a position in Uber as well. I think 30 million, I think it was, he invested. Anyway, lots of good talk about Uber. You can see here we kind of stalled out right where we'd expected, where some levels are prior support and resistance. If we do get a bit of a pullback here, it might be an opportunity to go long, or again, sell some puts, buy some calls, however you want to play that. And you can read about how to use options with my options book. NVIDIA, I talked about NVIDIA last week. I said 129, 130 was resistance, and that's exactly where we kind of topped out this week. So I'd be watching for a break higher here, or possibly a rejection at this level, because we are right at this 20 EMA, and we could get a pullback there on Monday, but watch for a breakout from 130 as well. Tesla, I flagged again last week. This sort of 382 level, 380 level was an area where, there'd been prior support here and here and here. And I said, if we start to break down here, look out below. And of course, we're heading down, and even the aftermarket on Fridays, further downside. As that news came out that Chinese sales are starting to really fall off, and BYD has really become the electric vehicle of choice in China, and China is one of Tesla's biggest consumers of EVs. So that doesn't bode well. So watch for more downside. I didn't take a position in this, unfortunately, but because it is a pretty volatile stock, but I did day trade it during the week. So that's what I am watching for next week. Okay, so let's wrap things up for the week of February the 10th. What do we got coming up here? Well, there's your levels on the Dow, Q, SPY, and IWM, support and resistance levels. Economic events, nothing Monday, but you can see here on 10 a.m. on Tuesday, we do have Fed Powell testifying to Congress, and he will testify again on Wednesday. So that could be a little bit of a market mover. We will have other Fed members speaking various events throughout Tuesday and Wednesday, particularly. The quiet period is over for them, so they'll be out doing the roadshow talking. On Wednesday, we also get CPI data before the market opens. So that's obviously going to be very interesting for inflation hawks. And then, of course, the PPI data on Thursday as well will give an indication as to where inflation could be going. And Friday, I think we got some retail sales, but also import price index numbers, industrial production capacity utilization, and business inventories at 10. So that's your economic events. Again, CPI and PPI data, Fed Powell, those are the big ones. And we do have more earnings coming up this week. We've got Shop, we've got Dash, Supermicrocomputer, Lyft, and UPST. We will be doing a aftermarket live YouTube video show. So if you want to join us for that. And of course, Wednesday, we've got some interesting ones, Reddit, Robinhood, and more on Thursday with Airbnb and Datadog. So yeah, more coming up here, more earnings coming up as we continue through the earnings parade, and lots of volatility probably with those earnings coming out. And of course, we will always be starting out at 8 o'clock or 8:30, pre-market show live on YouTube. During the week, you can join us there, or you can become a member for very cheap and check us out in our members section. So other than that, if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, and hopefully you have a great rest of the weekend. We will hopefully see you on Monday morning. Take care, everybody.